Welcome to Bathurst in the Group 4s. Going for the Mitsubishi this race. I've not seen anybody use it before. Let's give it a whirl, see what it's all about. Started off in position 14, almost last. I didn't qualify for this race. The OP car this week does seem to be that one in front. It's a G7. Not driven it yet, but it does seem to be the car of choice and certainly at the top of the leaderboards. Hopefully this Mitsubishi does as well. As we're heading to turn one, a little bit of pace away from the cars up in front. That's one thing this Mitsubishi lacks, is good old raw pace. It's actually pretty good in the handling side of things. So up the top of the mountain, does pretty well. Down below here, not so good. You see, I'm not in the slipstream enough from the cars up in front. I might be under attack from the car behind. Fingers crossed that is not the case. Coming up for turn 2 though, one victim has already been claimed by the wall, and I have a feeling this Aston Martin and G70 are going to have a good old moment together, as giving space is optional. We gained a position from it though, so did Casper really, in the Aston Martin. Managed to ghost their way through that G70, which I think is incredible. And how you can just turn into Casper, gain a position, no questions asked. Only if that was the case all the time. That was very much needed. Very, very much needed. Thank you, Casper. Much appreciated. We could have got absolutely wrecked then. Thankfully, we're up to position 10. Position 9. The crunching noise when they crash. Position 8 is so funny and satisfying to hear sometimes. I'm sure the victims don't see it that way, but yeah, the crashing noise is pretty entertaining, I would like to say. Just need to catch up to the green machine up in front, which really is not all that far away now, and hopefully we can make a move upon them. I mean, that is a bright, nice colour. Thinking of colours though, do need to get ourselves into the paint shop and get some liveries sorted out. Hopefully that will be simple enough. Looking to make a move on the green machine ahead. Problem is this car just doesn't have the power or the pace to be put against that G70. Really, it's going to be an opportunity-based overtake rather than a pace-based overtake. Such opportunities arise now as we go up the inside of the green machine here, having the bottle to outbrake them into the section now. And hopefully we don't go clattering down the mountain, which seems to be, we've done all right out of that, and we've actually gained roughly 0.8 seconds away from them, which is quite nice. Just need to catch up to this car up in front and gain that position from them. Had a little bit of contact with the wall, going to go left to make the move. Oh, nope, door was closed. Well, that is that run ruined. This car just doesn't have the pace. So we're going to sit in the slipstream and just make it look like we're going to make a move. Get into their heads a little bit, get them to try and defend and see if we can do the old switcheroo into this next corner here. Fingers crossed it works out, but it may not as well. Give them a little bit of a kiss by accident. End up going to the garden centre, picking out a lovely set of flowers, take them home with us, and out the other side, thankfully not losing too much pace from the car up in front. Should be able to catch them up in these next two corners and make a move as we climb back up the mountain with a bit of slingshot slipstream as we start our final lap. Coming up towards turn 1. It's going to be make or break this turn 1. We're going to have to try and carry as much momentum as we can, and out the other side, use that slipstream and get the inside line of this run. We're going to keep to the left, make it look like I want to stay to the left. You see this car really is struggling to get pace, and there we go. Faked him to the left, swung it over to the right, got the inside line of this next corner here, braking at the 50 board, apex syndrome from the car on the left, having a bit of contact. Thankfully we wasn't put to a disadvantage, but they lost a lot of momentum from that collision alone, which is ideal for us, to be honest. Crazy when you think about it, because there was definitely plenty of room for both of us to go too wide through that section there, and if they kept it too wide, they may have actually being able to hold that position as we end up in the left-handers straight after. But the collision, a bit of apex syndrome, wasn't meant to be. Proper screwing up the section here, which is going to give the advantage to the car behind, to be able to look to make a move. By the looks of it, it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Just need to make sure we don't fall down this mountain, and we can actually gain a bit of time away, because, well, I say that, the car's managed to overtake. Shame. Well, it is what it is. Maybe things may develop a bit like that. Go on, get power on, let's go, go, go. Coming to think about it, actually, that car is going to have slipstream, and that car is going to be breathing all over us by the time we exit this run. That is not ideal. So positioning here is going to be really crucial, to be quite honest, and hopefully we take the defensive line here. They're going up the right hand side. Brilliant. I'm going to have the defensive line. They're going up the outside. Too wide. They overcooked it. Brilliant. That is brilliant. So we managed to keep hold of this position, because that's what we know is this car is just not fast enough to be able to get away from that G70. And thanks to good planning, determination, we managed to pull it off, really. And thankfully we finished the race in position 6. Now I know this car has a lot more to give. Thing is, this next race is a bit more like the film Edge of Tomorrow. Live, die, repeat. But more on that in a moment, as we did start, well, we just started last, but that car forgot to start, so one position gained. Catching up to the G70 up in front. Hopefully be able to make a move on them in the next moment or two. Start of the race is kind of crucial. I'm not too sure why that car randomly ghosted, because there's nobody around for them to be put at a disadvantage or something. So yeah, it must be just the game being the game. Having a good bit of slipstream thanks to the car up in front, we are starting to slowly reel them in. The problem is the pack of cars up in front are long gone. Like, you know, we're going to have to bunny hop off this car and catch up to the next one. Following this next car into what was an awful entry to the corner. Not as bad as the Porsches though. Having a bit of contact did actually push us back somewhat. We really do need to get past this G70, because we are getting held up a little bit too much. So I'm going to go up the outside. No, doors closed. I'm looking for the sweet spot. Just get into the head, get them to make a mistake, a bit like that, and hang it around the outside, carrying that momentum. Sparks up in front, and cutting the nose off, just about making it through. Yellow flag, car on the wall. That's another position gained. We're up to P12, which is quite ideal for the start. We're not even halfway through the first lap. Gained 3 places overall. Got to be impressed with the ghosted system, because those 3 cars and one not ghosted would have been an absolute pinball machine coming down this hill if nobody was ghosted. So credit where credit's due on that one. And into the wall they go. That is another position gained. P11 in the bag. 2 more cars overtake. There's actually a GTR here. Look at that. I haven't seen that one in a little while, actually. Okay, GTR versus G70. Who is going to be victorious, as we are watching from a distance, claiming in that slipstream? Think the G70 is going to be victorious as they enter this next corner. Little bit of contact, things may escalate, or maybe not. Looks like the G70 beat the GTR. Now we just need to beat the GTR, try and get past them, hop into the slipstream of the G70, and that is job to good 'un. Thinking about making a move then, but ultimately backed out. There's no way that I'll be able to outbrake, especially from that sort of distance. But we did get a far better run out of that last corner, heading towards turn 1 for lap 2. Hopefully be able to hold on to this position, kiss of that curb, out the other side, and in the slipstream of the G70 up in front. Absolute beautiful. Also, the GTR fell off like a cliff behind us, so can't really grumble about that. But catching up to the pack of cars in front, overcooking it ever so slightly, overcompensating for the oversteer, and I met the wall in an unfortunate situation. And actually a really bad location as well. It's kind of tight to be able to turn around here. So all that hard work has now gone out the window. We have to redo it all again. Can't wait for that. I mean, we're only 2 seconds away from the BMW up in front, and we're in the position to overtake them thanks to a lovely bit of slipstream and a slingshot move. Up the outside we go. 1 down, I think it's 2 more to go. GTR and the one in front of that. To be fair, we've done exceptionally well to catch up the cars that we lost our positions on, because Really, that wall crash was not ideal and just absolutely ate up a ton of time. Ooh, that's another position gained, overtaking the GTR as they did meet the wall. I'm sure they're not too impressed about all the pixels in said wall, but they was able to count them. Catching up to the G70, we're going to give them a little bit of a bump shove, get them going along, try and catch up to the G70 in front of them. This car doesn't have the pace to be able to overtake and actually catch up to the Genesis up in front, but by working with this person, may be able to do it ourselves with a bit of teamwork. Well, that idea's gone out the window, so we just need to catch them up on corner pace alone. 1.1 second ahead, not ideal. I'm not too sure what the slipstream radius is, but if you know, please let me know. It'd be very much appreciated. Looking to make a move up on the left hand side of the Genesis, and to be fair, they're given us space to be able to do so. Just don't have the momentum to be able to carry this car up the hill. So I'm going to surrender it back, let the Genesis take over, and hopefully we'll be able to overtake them with a bit of slipstream in a moment. Getting right up behind them actually, and looking to make said move. Ultimately, I'll go out a little bit too wide. Go gardening, meet the wall. Not as bad as that car. I did that earlier. But I'd like to point this one out. This one really shocked me. Again, a 1.5 second penalty for barrier collision. Now, I would understand if I got a 1.5 second penalty for going on the grass. Perfectly fine. But the wall was not optional. Yeah, that one's stung. And it's 1.5 seconds. This is how destructive it is. You see, I know overtakes as we enter the braking zone. And then the car behind, 3.6 seconds away. I've only, my penalty being 1.5, actually lose the full 3.6 seconds. So the 1.5 second penalty turned out to be almost 4 seconds worth of penalty. Absolutely brutal. And I didn't realise that car was catching up to us ever so quickly. So yeah, I did almost cut them off the track. So I do apologise about that, buddy. I didn't see you coming. So let's overtake him again. This is why I say it's so much like the Edge of Tomorrow. We push, hit the wall, an incident happens, or something like that, then we have to do it all again. Thankfully though, that was one of the easier overtakes. Would like to point out though, this is the final lap, so we only have one opportunity to be able to overtake position 9 up in front. Sadly, I don't think we're going to be able to gain 6th position like we did in the previous race, but we did start 2 places further back as well, so I think that's kind of crucial. Oh, don't give me another penalty for that wall. Fingers crossed here. Doesn't look like it's going to be. But we have managed to catch up to I Know up in front. They are now only 1.7 seconds away. I think the pressure may well be getting to them ever so slightly, and we are also overcooking this car somewhat. Braking really late down this hill, bit sideways, but managing to hold on to it. Actually, this is becoming ideal. Less than a second away from the car up in front. It's going to be really crucial this next corner now, because as long as we get a decent run, we're going to be right in that slipstream from them. They did not have such a good run. Looking to make a move. Kind of premature to a certain degree, because we're going to make that move and then they are going to be in the slipstream, so they're going to be able to slingshot past us like we were standing still, which is less than ideal. You can see they're also going to have the inside line. Now, plan of action, let them have the inside line and hopefully be able to do a switchback. Fingers crossed this works out in our favor. Ooh, no, just not enough momentum. But go on, you go over to the right. I'm going to pretend I'm going over to the right, holding it there. I'm going to dive at this last second, hopefully be able to pull it off. Better brakes on this Mitsubishi. Over the curb we go. Managed to pull it off. Position 9 for the win. Absolutely beautiful. And you know, to be fair, I Know at the end of this race messages me saying, well played, sir. Well played. So, I Know if you see this, my friend, brilliant racing. Thank you. But it doesn't end there. Going to pick the G70, a set qualifying pace lap, which was 1 lap, and I got a 2:17.602, so I was pretty happy with that, which in turn gave us pole position start. Was quite surprising though how fast this G70 is compared to the Mitsubishi, because 1 lap in this G70 and I was already 3 seconds quicker than any of my other laps in the Mitsubishi. So yeah, OP car all the way by the looks of it. Crazy enough, I'm already 7 tenths ahead of the cars behind from that one corner, so it's going to be quite insane if I can manage to keep up this pace and momentum, really. And don't get me wrong, it's very different to qualifying. Qualifying, you make a mistake, that's fine, hit restart and back at it. Whereas in a race, one mistake, they're going to be all over us and we're going to have to try and claim that back. So it's going to be a case of balancing speed as well as survival, shall we say. Making this corner just about nicely, to be fair. And out the other side we go, still 8 tenths away almost from the car behind. And as long as we keep balancing the sheets, we'll be in a great position towards the end of the race. Also, providing we don't go gardening and hitting a wall, getting a 1.5 second penalty. That one still stings, I've got to be honest. Why is that helicopter so far away? Like, all the cars behind ourselves here. So, what are you taping, my friend? Flash, pay attention, stop getting so distracted. Pulled it off, managed to, and just kept it away from that wall just enough as well. Braking down the second gear, nice and tight, so we're getting that power nice and early. Getting a great run down this back straight. 1.5 seconds away from the car behind, absolutely ideal. It's crazy really, the difference between this car and that Mitsubishi. Now obviously there's a reason nobody chose the Mitsubishi, by the looks of it isn't all that good. But the difference in this car, I mean, absolutely insane. It does seem to be a lot more stable as well as a lot faster. Changing the map from radar to track map to see how far the car away is, I kind of like that. It's really useful. Thing is, it looks like we've lost a little bit of time through that section there alone. Nothing to be worried about really. As long as we can keep the momentum going and the pace we have at the moment, we should keep bleeding away from them, and that's crucial here. One thing I've also learned is curbs are not friends. Curbs do seem to be quite destructive at this track. I mean, in Forza you can glide over the curbs, they're pretty flat to a certain degree. In GT they're very bouncy, which really does ruin your run coming up this hill. Right now we're now 1.7 seconds away, coming up to 1.8. We set the fastest lap for the first lap at 2:24. I do wonder what we're going to be able to set at this lap. We're already 4 seconds up. Wow, that's insane. But don't forget, the starting lap was only a rolling start, and we was at the front, so we didn't have a fast rolling start either. It's crazy when you look at it. The track map at the bottom right makes it look like the car behind is much closer than what they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, 2 seconds away isn't a lot, but it is quite a while. The track map makes it look a lot closer. P2 and 3 being that close behind is concerning, because if they do work together, they're going to be faster than us on the straights. No doubt about it, because they could bump each other along. Oh, there's the helicopter. It's back in the right place. Come on, buddy, follow me. Let's go. Let's see how it's done. Get right close to that wall, keeping the full throttle on, out the other side. We get another second from that alone. 2.3 seconds, 3.7 seconds ahead of the car behind. Something must have happened behind us to gain actually that much. Wow, we're 5 seconds ahead. Incredible. I'm not grumbling. It gives us a safe barrier where if anything go wrongs, we stays in good place. I mean, more like a scrape against the wall, not like a full catastrophe of spinning around and doing donuts in the middle of the track. One thing I will ask though, if you've made it this far into the video and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. We're only 19 away from hitting the Mega 2000, which is really insane. But we're making it through this corner at flight speed, 149 miles per hour, breaking down the third gear, kiss of that curb, and rolling out the other side. Probably could have done that a little bit quicker, but sometimes sacrificing a tenth to stay on the track is more ideal than absolutely sending it and possibly losing a 5-second lead. Preservation is key sometimes. As we cross over the start and finish line, head over to lap 5, well, start of lap 5 anyway, you can see the pace we'll be setting could be better, 219, 219 and a 218, but we are now 12 seconds away from the car behind, which is insane and ideal. Gives us a lot of breathing space while not putting us under pressure. It's weird because being in first position, you get like the first position sweats where you're more conscious about making a mistake Sometimes you overthinking certain decisions before you make said decision. You're approaching the corner, am I braking at the right points? You know, it all starts going through your head a little bit too much. So trying to restrain that back and be more confident in your abilities is also, it's like a battle that goes on in your head. Anyway, we're almost 14 seconds ahead from the cars behind, which is, again, really ideal. I do wonder, are we setting a better pace this lap? Might well be doing so. Really pushing it as much as we can do so. Maybe almost towards the limit of the car, and maybe finessing the corners a little bit better will gain the extra temps we're looking for. When we're 0.251 up on this lap alone, which is good news. Probably could go through that section a little bit better though. A little bit clumsy coming down the mountain, but there's always improvements to be made. This Group 4 race has been absolutely insane, and what a brilliant track it is at. I'm even including race 2 in how brilliant this race was. Although it was extremely clumsy, just pushed it a little bit too hard, beyond what the car can do, just overdriving. And although we gained a penalty, we had a collision into a wall, we still finished off in a relatively good position overall. And towards the end, racing Aino was an absolute brilliant battle right up to the finish line. I thought, you know what, how bad it was still had the good points to look at. Setting a decent qualifying time, jumping into this race, 15 seconds ahead, almost 16 seconds ahead from General in position 2 behind. What a way to end it off. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.